Hello there everyone, and welcome back to the next Muunilinst MOC update video. And in this video I actually start on the second structure in the Muunilinst city area, so it's a very exciting episode. I'm going to try to keep these intros a little bit shorter, so without any further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so last episode I started to work on that building back there. Got a lot of good feedback and you guys seem to like the building quite a bit, so I'm very happy about that. I had a lot of fun creating that structure and I think it looks pretty good, and Muunilinst is starting to really fill out now, so it's getting very exciting. For this episode, my plan is to make a structure very similar to that one over on this side. You can see I've already got I showed that pillar thing last episode, so I've got an idea to create one of these buildings over on this side, make it a little similar, but also make it a little unique so they're not exactly the same. So that's the plan for this episode, is to create a second building slash structure over on this side of the MOC. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. Real quick before we start the episode here, I got to give a special shout out to Director KW from the live stream that I did on Thursday. He actually donated money to the stream, and that money will be going towards Muunilinst, and I wanted to give a huge shout out to him for supporting the channel. And it was my first ever donation, and it was such an awesome moment, and I'm super excited to use that money on Muunilinst, maybe buy some speeder bike parts or some more light gray or sand green parts for the buildings, but it means a lot to me. So thank you once again to Director KW. Huge shout out to him. And if you guys are free on Thursdays, usually around 7 p.m. Central Time in the United States, that is usually when I'm streaming every week. I'm trying to do that more regularly until summer. Once I get to the summer, I'll probably start streaming more during the daytime, so it's a little more friendly in different time zones. But Thursday nights, I've been doing live streams, so definitely stop by. If you guys are free, we kind of have all sorts of different Star Wars topics, and we kind of get some building done, and you guys get to see some early progress. So hope you guys are able to join. Once again, thank you to Director KW Briggs for the donation. That means a whole lot to me, and it's so awesome to get the donation and have it go towards Muunilinst. So huge shout out to him. I will be shouting out all people who donate each week in the episode. So huge shout out to him. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this week's episode. Alright guys, so I've now completed another side of the second building here. As you can see, I've done the same pattern that I did with the other building that you saw last episode, using lots of 1x2 sand green and light gray plates, as well as some masonry brick and some sand green 1x1 bricks as well, and different 2x2 plates, all sorts of different plates in different colors to kind of give it this cool texture. So I've got this side done right here. Now I'm going to show you guys the other sides that I've worked on and try to finish this building, but I'm trying to make this base part similar to the building that you saw in the last episode. So then the base of the buildings will be similar, but the top will be a little different with the way the pillars are oriented. So here's what I got so far. And here is the other side here. So this is the one closest to the road that you've seen in the previous episodes with the different entrances. And again, the sides, like this side is a little shorter than this one over here, which essentially just means that instead of two patches of light gray, there's only one. So that's why you just see the one patch right there. And then it's surrounded by sand green. So now we've got the second side done right here, and it looks pretty good, you know, tied in with the actual road right here. So second part is done, and now I've just got two more sides to complete. All right, and here is the back side right here. Again, very similar pattern to the front side. I'm not really talking too much about the kind of base of the building because you guys saw it in the previous episode, and this is pretty much the exact same design as the building that I did last episode. So pretty much the same exact design on this side, and now I just need to work on the final side right there. But again, this road right here, if you remember the road over here, this road, that will go through this way, so it'll tie into this building right here and kind of go past it, and I think that'll look pretty good. So here is the back side. Now I'm going to move on and finish the final front side right over here that I've got to get done. Alright guys, so I've now worked a little bit more on the front side here. As you can see, I've now completed it with the sand green and the light gray right there, and then also I started to put plates down up top to kind of create the floor ground level. But here's kind of the front side right here, using very similar design to what I used for the rest of the building right here. So I'm going to go ahead and start to move on to the kind of middle part of the building here, and I'll update you guys as I go along. Alright, so I actually just got done with a live stream, so all you guys that were able to tune in, huge shout out to everybody and thanks for tuning in. If you didn't if you missed this live stream, I'm starting to do them kind of Thursdays now, Thursday nights. So if you are wanting to join the stream, just kind of be on the lookout for Thursday late afternoon slash early night there for when the live streams will start. But essentially what I did was I started to build up part of the rest of the wall right there, just like I did over on this other side down here from the previous episode with the walls. So I did that pretty much same exact thing right here and kind of built it up a little bit. And then I started to work on the other side and place some tiles here. So the next steps that I'm going to do, I'm going to do this kind of similar thing that I did with the wall design on this side, and I'm going to replicate that on the other side, and then I'm going to fill the middle with tiles, and I'll probably give you guys an update once I get that done. But that's the next kind of small few objectives that I'm going to work on for this episode. Alright, so I added in a bunch of tiles there, as you can see, and I cleaned up the back side over there in front of the curtain, so now it's all looking pretty good, and I'm happy with it so far. And now you can see I put down all of the tiles in there to give it that kind of cool tiled look, and kind of offsetting them, as you can see, by one stud there, so they kind of all line up unevenly, and it gives it kind of a cool texture to it with everything like that. So now that that's all laid down, the next thing that I plan to work on is going to be the pillars here. Now, if you remember this building over here, here's a quick reminder of how exactly I did the pillars for this side here. So you can see they're kind of built pretty tall up, and they kind of have the tops to them still, but there's still a little battle damage. So that's how I did those ones. I have a different plan for this one. Instead of making it so that they're all like connected like that, I kind of just want to put like maybe one or two over here, and then maybe another one kind of offset in different spots throughout the building right there. I'm going to take another look at the screenshot, but I kind of have an idea in my head of how I'm going to do it, because I want to make this one a little different than the other building. I don't want to make them exactly the same. I want to change it up a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do next, is start to work on the pillars, and once I get the pillars done, then the building will really be close to being done. But this is what it's looking like so far. Something else that I want to mention real quick that I'm definitely open to doing is maybe taking out some of these tiles and making it as if like a mortar round or artillery or something hit the floor and it kind of cracked and fell down. So that's something I might add in at a later time, is take some of those tiles out and make it the floor more destroyed, as if it's been kind of like a hole was blown right in the middle of the floor. So that's something I might add later on, but for now I'm going to go ahead and work on the pillars. Alright guys, so I have now worked a little bit more on the building here. You can see I've added in one side of the pillars over there, doing a very similar design to what I did on the other building, and then I've tiled out the whole entire thing, so it's looking pretty good down there. And then the newest thing I added down there was some battle damage. So using lots of plates and masonry brick, I kind of filled in some of the under part of the actual build structure, and then I added some more out to the outside to make it seem like, you know, a piece of artillery or a wrist rocket or something hit that area and kind of cause it to look destroyed. And I actually really like the look of it. I think it looks really cool, especially when you get in close and you can see the masonry brick detail. I think it really fits with the style of this building, so I think that was a good addition. The thing now is, since I did this destroyed portion right here, I now got to figure out how I'm going to attach like pillars to this side, or even if I need pillars on this side. I'm not really sure. I'm going to kind of mess around a little bit more and try to figure out how exactly I'm going to place pillars on this side, but I want to show you guys this little battle damaged area that I added in because I think it looks pretty cool. So here's a quick update of what I've been messing around with here. As you can see, I was trying to do some different pillar designs. Again, I was looking back through the screenshots from the actual battle from the show, trying to look and try to do something similar. So that's why you can tell like these designs up here are a lot different than the back ones. These two I kind of got off, this one in particular, I got off in particular from a screenshot from the actual battle. And I kind of built these custom stands down here. I'll maybe show how I did those, because it's kind of a cool technique that I was messing around with. But this is kind of what I got going so far. I'm really not too sure how I feel about it. In all honesty, it's just kind of starting to look weird that it's not the same as that side. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really wanted to experiment and try some different pillars, but since these two buildings are pretty much the exact same in terms of how they're built, to me it's looking weird to do a different pillar design over here compared to this one, which has this pillar design. So I'm kind of considering just taking apart what I have right here and kind of replicating that somewhat over on this side, just because I feel like this just looks kind of odd and out of place now that I've started to build. I'm not sure. I kind of wanted to find a way to make this one different, but I'm kind of realizing now that after looking at the screenshots, Muunilinst has a lot of identical looking buildings, so I think it's okay if a few of them look the same. But I'm going to keep messing around, but this is kind of what I came up with for the first design. Here's a quick look at the design that I used for kind of the bottom of the pillars for the technique I was trying out. So essentially, as you can see, I've got these two right here, and they kind of go like this and create a little bit of a circle. But essentially what the design is here, so let me grab one of these. Essentially, as you can see right here, we've got a modified brick with a stud on both sides, and then I've attached these little clips on the edge just like that. And then what's really cool about this, I was literally just grabbing parts from my sand green bin and trying to mess around and see what I can come up with. That's how I come up with a lot of techniques that I use for mocks, is I just kind of take random pieces that are in front of me and try to find a way for them to fit together. So what I did that was really cool for this piece is you can actually attach, using the clip, you can attach a brick in there, or not a brick, a stud, or a plate rather. You can attach a plate in there. Essentially what we've got is the clip essentially attaches to the back part of the stud. So if you notice on the stud, that little kind of hole in the middle right there, this actually attaches to that hole, and it allows you to create angles with it, if that makes sense. So you can take it off like this, and you can simply attach it like that and kind of move it whichever way you want for whatever you're kind of building. I'm not sure if it's a legal technique, but I thought it was a cool design nonetheless. I was kind of messing around with trying to figure out different ways to do different pillar designs. So even if I don't end up using this design for the kind of bottom of the pillars, I still think it's a pretty cool design. And then I just put some tiles on them as well, and you can see how it kind of can create interesting shapes like this and stuff like that. So I also think it's a cool design. It might be kind of cool to do for like a floor design or something. I'm not really too sure yet. There's a lot of techniques and possibilities with it, but I want to show you guys real quick what that design looked like. All right, so here's kind of what I've come up with so far here. Very similar design to the other side right there. This one's just a lot more destroyed. Almost done here. A few things that I need to add on to here, but essentially the idea is that since this part was blown out, it's almost as if, you know, a piece of artillery hit right there, created that little kind of divot right there in the ground, and also took out a lot of these pillars. It's like those three pillars got cut in half, and then the floor got destroyed. So I think adding some pillars that like kind of fell down that way would be good, and a few more pieces of debris like sticking out of that one right there. But this is kind of what I've got going so far. I'm going to have to kind of end the episode here, so I'll go ahead and give an overview of everything that we got done in this episode with this building, as well as an overview of the mock, kind of overshot, like an overview that everything that's been done so far. I'm expecting to kind of modify this because I'm not entirely happy with it at the moment. So I'm going to keep modifying this stuff, these pillars in particular. But I do think this addition down here is really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys everything we got done in this episode. Here's a quick look at the building that we got done for this episode. I was able to replicate a very similar design that I used for the previous building that you saw in the last episode. Essentially the same exact design all the way around. The only things that are kind of different are some of the pillars and that kind of crater or divot that I added in there to the bottom of the building right there, and I think it looks pretty good. Something I might do in a future episode here is maybe try to replicate that on like another side of the building, because I think that adds a lot of good texture and depth to the build, is kind of adding that different layer of kind of that crater in there. So I might actually end up doing that on this side as well in a future episode. But here's kind of the building and what we got done with the building in this episode. And here's a look at the front side, essentially the same as the one over there from the previous episode. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's really cool to see a second building now up on Muunilinst. And I'm going to go ahead and give a quick wide shot of everything that's been done in the mock so far real quick. So here's a quick look of everything that's been done so far for Muunilinst, making lots of progress here. And I think, 6 episodes, able to get this much progress done. So I'm definitely happy with the way the mock is progressing, but I have a feeling it's going to take a while once we can get to the super large buildings that I've got planned, at least for the rest of the city in Muunilinst. But so far, everything's looking pretty good. I'm curious to see what you guys think overall of the mock so far. I'm definitely liking it. I'm trying to capture that tall Muunilinst feel that you get with lots of the pillars and stuff like that. So that's why there's so many pillars in this front area. But Battlefield's looking pretty good with the wavy pattern. I think it'll look hopefully pretty epic once all the speeder bikes get there, which a future episode will definitely be dedicated to creating the speeder bikes for full episodes. So that'll be very, very exciting. And then hopefully the texture looks good. I think it does in this area because it just looked kind of not very good before when it was just all plain tiles. So I think it looks a lot better with the texture down there in the entrance, and then the actual 2 buildings that I've built so far. Definitely liking them. I think they are a good addition to Muunilinst. Right now they look kind of out of place just because there's nothing around them. So I think next episode what's going to happen is I'm going to continue this path that's in the middle of the build and continue it through this area and kind of around the buildings so they don't look so out of place, because right now they're just kind of sitting there by themselves. So don't worry, next episode we'll work on touching up the buildings and filling in the spots all around it with kind of road work and stuff like that. So that'll be next episode, so that should be pretty exciting. But overall, guys, I'm really liking the way the MOC is turning out so far, and hope you guys are enjoying the videos. But let's go ahead and go on to the outro. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. Let me know what you think about the new building structures in the comment section below, as well as all the other parts of the MOC that I showed in the overview on the previous clip. I've been having a lot of fun making these new building structures using the sand green parts and the pillars and the columns. I've just been having so much fun building those, so I hope you guys are enjoying the MOC overall and the videos as well. So also, if you guys have time, another quick reminder, the live streams on Thursday nights, I've been starting to do those more regularly. Been having a ton of fun doing those. You guys get a sneak peek on what I'm working on for that weekend's update video, and you'll get to engage in the chat and have some fun Star Wars conversations and other topics as well. Generally, it's just a great fun time, and you get a little sneak peek at what I'm building for the weekend. So if you guys are interested and have time, feel free to check it out. I'd love to have you guys if you haven't already. And as always, leave your feedback in the comment section below. Hope you guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.